Oh, there it is. It says
Okay,
it's being recorded.
there you go. I said record to the cloud, so I think that'll work.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks again so much.
My pleasure.
So, um, you may introduce yourself now since we're recording. And
Okay, so my name's Devin Bundy. I am the owner of McClure Concrete in Denver, Colorado. We do residential concrete foundations here, which you don't have many of in California because you don't have basements, but it's big business here. But I have also sold concrete in the big trucks, and my summer job when I went to the University of San Diego was I actually poured concrete. So I've got some experience. Hopefully, I can fill in the gaps here on your interview.
wow, that's really awesome. That's so cool. And how many years you said you've been doing this?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but 34 years in some form or fashion, I've been either working it, selling it, or running this business.
Wow, how'd you get into it? Just
You really, I mean, to be recorded, it was at a soccer game. My mom was at my sister's soccer game and found a guy in southern Denver, South Denver, who did patios and sidewalks and everything you see that you walk on. And he used to hire on kids in the summer. And the interview was, "Are you hiring?" And he said, "Can he push a wheelbarrow?" And my mom said, "Yes." And he said, $5 an hour, 1987.
wow.
I worked for him every summer when I was at USD with Mr. Stumfel. I would come home, work for him, and play baseball. And then I thought I was gonna teach and coach, and I ended up getting a sales job selling the actual trucks of concrete at a company which is now called Aggregate Industries or Wholesome, which is the largest cement producer in the world. And then Phil McClure was one of my customers, and he asked me to come run his company, and that's it. It's crazy to me.
Wow.
So
Dang.
yes,
That's sure the
1987
journey.
till now.
Nice. That's amazing. Congratulations on that
Thank
for
you.
sure.
It's been
Now
good. It's
you
been
um
amazing.
and how big is your business, would you say? You think it's running well in sorts?
Yes, post COVID, I'm in residential construction, which is being told is probably a top three industry in the world. Everybody wants to change their house. My company, even though it's family run, we do about $40 million in sales. So I have almost 200 people, and it's a machine. I love it. I love going there, but it's a machine.
Wow, that's awesome. And you know all about how concrete works and pouring it in and do you make the concrete or do you get it supplied from somewhere?
We get it supplied, which is my second job. Is we get it. I mean, if you really want to get into the process, um, and I'll tell you everything I can. And I will tell you one thing: is a lot of people think it comes in a truck and it's gray and it gets hard. Some of that's true, but a lot of it's not. There's a lot to it, and a lot, like you say, to the environment that they're working on. Um, but no, we buy it from two or three big suppliers here, which they have the plants and the trucks. But even before that, they're the ones who take the actual powder, which is called cement, even though some people call concrete cement. You take the powder and your rock and your sand and your water, and you
Hmm.
mix it all together. And that's when I take it, and
Sorry
I
about
take
that.
it. That's okay. I take it in its plastic form, which means it's wet and it's in that truck. They bring it to me. I put it in forms and it gets hard overnight, and we take the forms off. And then the next thing you know, you've got about a 70-yard piece of concrete sitting there that they'll build a house on.
Dang, that's awesome.
It's hard to explain. I mean, I'm such a nerd about it to take you on a field trip, but I can explain whatever I can here. So, and it's very different. It's different from California to Colorado to everywhere. But yeah, it's crazy.
Great. That makes sense. And there's so much concrete, it's crazy.
Yes.
As I said, I've been doing this for an environmental literature class.
Okay.
And so in that class, this point of this project is to research something you're curious about and how it is affected with the environment. And so I was doing research and I was finding out that like concrete, it's the largest building material in the world, and
It is.
there's about 1 square yard of concrete for each person to own in the world.
Like now that I didn't know. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane, huh? So now this is the environmental part that I was going into.
Okay.
Um, Here's a paragraph of facts I'll read to you. So, concrete emits about 1,700 pounds of carbon dioxide per ton of concrete produced. About 500 million tons of concrete is in the US alone, meaning the US has released a total of about 425 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere from concrete alone.
Okay.
And the cement and concrete industry is actually responsible for 4 to 7% of man made carbon dioxide in the planet. That's coming if so basically if the concrete business industry was a country, it would come in second to the US and China. Actually, that was a fact I learned. um,
Now,
Scientists,
do you know if that's in production or is that hardened concrete?
um, I believe that's in production.
Yes.
hmm um, then scientists claim that massive leaps of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere cause rapid climate change and lead to a different world future. And so this was just all news I felt, but I was wondering, like, if you, did you know any of that? I'm just wondering because this is just
Not necessarily the amount of the carbon dioxide, but having worked in this industry so long, Chad, they are doing things every day to erase some of the scars that they deserve. Um,
yeah.
I mean, I will tell you right now. Now, this is not concrete, but you go back to the cement where they grind the actual cement. It's called clinker. It's probably a 15 to 20 year um, permit process. Very heavy with the EPA, very heavy with an entity called MSHA, which is the Mining Safety Hazard Association. And they are doing everything. They are trying to jump on board with the car producers and everything and reduce their footprint. Now, I don't think they can throw out a zero deal. I mean, it is still the grinding of a product into another product and it's going to have waste. Um,
Mhm.
Another thing they've done is you say, like, for every yard of concrete. So, in every yard of concrete, um, real fast math, there's probably a cubic yard is pretty close to a ton, but there's about 565 pounds of cement per yard. So about a quarter of that ton is the actual powder.
Mhm.
Um, Over the last 30, 40 years, they've used a product called fly ash, which is a waste product from burning coal. And they found out that it works in conjunction with cement. It's 1,000 times finer. And they are able to take 20% of the cement out and put in this waste product. So they are working on stuff like that. Um, they're coming up with things called porous concrete, where it looks like a sidewalk, but water will drain through it more than wick off the top of it, which I think also, um, when you look at the hundreds of thousands of square feet, just take California, of sidewalks that are there. You've got hardened concrete everywhere, and that reverses the process, water coming through it. But I mean, Chad, you have every right. Like back in the 50s and the 60s, the mining industry, because we have to mine the rocks to put with the cement and all that, and they were bad. They would scar the land, and they wouldn't repair it, and then they made useful products, but they've been trying to jump on board as best they can, I would say.
Awesome. That's what I'm
Some of
really
those,
glad you
some of
know all
those,
that too.
some of those facts you gave me are outstanding. I mean, it makes me think. So,
Yeah, aren't they? It's crazy. This is a very great like learning experience for me too. I'm glad I thought about this with concrete for the project.
well,
Um,
it's got to be one that a lot of people didn't take. So hopefully you've got something that,
oh
uh,
yeah, I'm pretty sure no one's ever taken it ever. So
yes.
because it's not that something people think about, and that's why I thought it would be interesting. Um, and this was the last thing I was going to bring out
Yeah.
was that I think you talked about it with fly ash. I heard that there's a new concrete being developed that absorbs carbon dioxide. So it's doing the exact opposite. Um,
Okay.
it absorbs about zero point 0.4 tons of carbon dioxide per ton of concrete produced. So
Did they have a name for it, or did they tell what was the product that caused that reaction? I would love to know.
Um, I believe so. It was in the article. I'll pull it up for you. I didn't write down the name
Oh,
or
I'd love
what
to see
product it was. I should have. Um, I'll get it
it.
for you in a
Don't
second.
let me forget because I got another recycled thing that I completely forgot about that I want to add to that previous statement, but I want to hear this one first.
Okay, awesome. Um, you can bring it up right now if you want to, because I'm gonna have to pull it up on my
Is it in
computer.
the putting it in the chat or
Yeah. Let me see here. It was in my number one. Here you go. I think this is the document. I'll send you the whole entire works cited for this specific. Um,
what kind of sources did you find?
these are sources from um, what do you call it? Um, like databases, so they're
Mhm.
trustworthy. Like, and they're. I'll send you the link to it right now. I have to find which one it was. I had 6 different sources, so
That's okay.
I'm gonna make sure it's the right one. Um, um, I think this is it. Let me double check with this. I'll send it in the chat to you too, and you can save the link. Um, um, let me send this to you. Um, here's the link. You got that?
No.
This one actually wasn't from a database. It's from Sustainable Build, I think.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, you can check it out. It has details on it. British-based people, they're trying to make this form of concrete. It absorbs carbon dioxide as it hardens. So
I've heard of Nova some.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And I thought this was good to know because it's doing the exact opposite of.
Magnesium sulfate, which requires less heating, which is that's what it does. I mean, it goes through a kiln. Woo! Sorry, I'm nerding out here.
Hey, it's cool. I'm really glad. I'm glad. Probably don't get to talk with much kids about concrete.
No, it's hard to get them to even see your kid. That one right there is huge. Is catching it at the process. Where did I lose you? Hold on. Catching them at the process of that's the nastiest part is when they're running that cement through the kiln and
Yeah.
they put off.
Hmm.
That would
It,
be huge. And I mean, to tell you the truth, we're going to need something like that because under current practices and the permit process, you're going to run out of mineral deposits, and that might be a good thing if they can start switching it.
hmm.
Another
Yeah.
thing, another thing I did think about, Chad, is a lot, and you got to think more of the Midwest when they're doing these, where they do roads. I mean, even some in California, but they're doing entire roads out of concrete. They're doing a lot where they break up the old concrete and they crush it down into sizes that are just like the rocks that would go in, and they're reusing it, and it's already cement coated. So it's got a better bond, and I would assume now this is where I'm stepping out. I don't know, but I would assume with the better bond, maybe that would it definitely helps with the waste product. It helps use less cement because the rocks are already coated, and I don't know what it does with the emissions, but they're getting anywhere where they can use 20, 30, 40% replacement instead of virgin rock. They use crushed up rock. That's another thing they've done. And
Wow.
all my builders, Chad, try to get they're on they call them green points, or they're all on national programs. And not just me, not just concrete, but even plumbers and everybody it takes to build a house. We all try to do something to get them green points. I mean, it's just something we all have to be aware of, or we're going to burn this place out too fast, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta keep it going and like workable for future generations and
I'm
stuff.
serious. It's the ones, when they didn't know what they had and they were just doing it out of need. And now you see, so yes, and
Mhm.
I can't lie. I mean, construction is not usually a leader, but they need to be. I mean, there are some very, very, it gets the reputation of just a contractor or whatever, but there are some of those cement companies or some of these, they call them material supply companies, Chad. They're some of the biggest companies in the world. They're
Yeah.
huge, worldwide producers of cement, rock, aggregate, asphalt, all the building products. So you
Mhm.
do have some people with some clout who care. It's not just a bunch of family run people
Yeah.
traded
It
on
makes
Wall Street,
sense.
and they have to. Ton of them have. Even when I left the big producer, Chad, we had an environmental services manager, and I worked there until '01. So that was 20 years ago. So they know they've got to leave it. When they're mining aggregate, They've got to leave a water deposit or leave it better than they did before, and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm sure I'm sure it could all be figured out just as Nove seem however you pronounce his name is
over
figuring it
time
out.
or whatever the product.
Yeah, and I'm sure more scientists and everyone can figure it out pretty simply. It just will takes the hardest part will definitely be implementing it, I'm
It
sure.
will be, because there's also the stubbornness of my great grandpa, my grandpa, and my dad all did it this way. So
Yeah.
you have to overcome that. It's a tough.
hmm And probably maybe I would imagine it would result in changing of some factory equipment, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. All those big, nasty concrete trucks you see out there, especially in California, are all um, under the new emissions. Um, if they were, I got to get my numbers right because I buy Kenworths all the time. I can't remember, Chad. You'd have to look it up. It's on. I think anything after 2014 has all the new emission standards, and it's on a graduated every 2 years. They're ratcheting them up to where at some point you're going to have concrete pumps and concrete trucks that hopefully will run just like a Tesla.
Yeah, wow,
Uh,
that's crazy. That's
they they've
great.
got they got to jump in. I know they're working on it. They're big. You got an 80,000 pound truck. It's different than whipping your sports car up I-5, but they're working on it. Every part of our industry, because we, even though we're tied back to companies like Mac, who does a lot of the trucks, or Kenworth, or things like that, but anywhere Chevy and Ford go, they can go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of future happening, and it's great to hear
Yeah.
that it can happen. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're looking at, I mean, it's hard to get people who want to do this kind of work. We need to take care of our people. We need to take care of our resources. We got to take care of our planet. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be builders. I mean, I build people houses, or people build bridges, or they build football stadiums, or they're supposed to be builders. But for years behind the scenes, even though they were building, they were wrecking stuff behind the scenes.
hmm Yeah, that's ironic.
It is.
Yeah, it's very cool though. Thanks again so much. My last question is just
Sure.
if there's anything else you'd like to say. So
No, I mean, I hope, um, I'm lucky in that I'm not the guy in the field every day doing all the work, and it leaves me time to work. I don't want to sound cliche, but I work on my business, not in it. And it leaves me time to be, I'm on the board of the Home Builders Association, and they are tied to Washington, whether it's legislation or whatever, but they've got pressures there. A couple you could look up if you wanted to take it deeper and look at it from the material producer side, is there's one called the, excuse me, National Ready Mix Concrete Association. If you Google NRMCA, they might have some stuff on there, or the pretty much the one of all the standards is called ACI, which is American Concrete Institute. Go on there and see what kind of. I would love to get your opinion, not somebody who lives it every day, but get your opinion of, are they doing enough? do you see enough from their website that shows that they care? Because those are the governing entities of pretty much all the producers would be the NRMCA. That's the association they all join. I've gone back to Washington, and it's a nationwide or worldwide. So, and you got to hope, segue on that is, we do so much here, but a lot of our guys will complain, and this is not to be political, not to be anything, but China can do all this and they have no regulation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are they destroying their land, they can compete for less. They can produce certain things in China, put it on a barge, and get it here cheaper than we produce it, but they're doing it without any sort of environmental controls.
Mm.
So it's an interesting worldwide market, even though you're just talking about concrete or rebar or any of that stuff.
That makes sense. So you got to start there, but you can't
We
really
do.
control that. Huh.
We got to be leaders, and they got to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
My
Gotta.
other thing is, if you think of, if we hang this up and automatic bridge, just because the stumbles, if you think of something, text me, email me. And if I don't know, every day I talk to people who run those suppliers. I can talk to people who run those cement plants. And if I didn't get to a deep enough level of responding to that great first set of facts, I can get them for you. I can get some guys who deal with it every day. And if it's not deep enough, you let me know and we'll get it there. That's the world I live in. So for sure.
Great. Thanks so much again,
Sure.
Devin. Yes, so grateful to have you here. I'm Chad. You can check out. May as well give you a little shout out if you want to check it out. Me and my brother we're in a band called the Bierman Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
think Stump may have texted me that at one point, but
yeah,
I check that out. What do you play?
we play classic rock and blues jazz and like new originals too. That's like alternative rock style. It's
Very
pretty cool.
nice. What is your weapon of choice?
I play bass and vocals most of the time.
Nice.
My identical twin brother and I we switch off though, and he does guitar. So
Okay.
lately I've been playing drums too at some gigs, so it's awesome.
It sounds like from I can't even call him Mr. Stumple with a straight face, but sounds like you guys are ridiculously talented and can pick stuff up very quickly. So that is awesome.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we've been playing for um, 10 years now. Wow, it's the
Nice.
first time I've said that number. Wow, it's
Oh,
crazy. So
oh, it doesn't get any better, by the way.
I
I
can
think
imagine.
you need to set a goal and come out here and just happen to play the Red Rocks Amphitheater. I'll be the first guys up there, and if you ever look it up, it's one of the most famous amphitheaters for music in the world. So,
Oh, awesome. I'll look it up right now. And the website you said was the American Concrete Association?
yep. No, American Concrete Institute, ACI.
Oh, I see it.
The other one was NRMCA. Should take you to the National Ready Mix Concrete Association.
Okay, sweet. I
I
got both
haven't,
of those.
Dad, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been on those in a long time, but I would love to see if they're addressing anything environmental in their if
Yeah.
you their low hanging fruit. I know they get pressed, but I'd love to see how you read it. So,
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
all right.
Yeah, I don't see, um, I see one thing that talks about like new and innovative technology on the NRMCA.
Yeah.
But yeah, not. I mean, maybe if you look deep into it, I'm sure you could find some stuff. But well,
Yeah.
thanks again. You can introduce
Anytime.
yourself one last time and in your company, and then
Sure.
I think it'll be good.
Like I said, and if there's anything else, just hit me back. You have my number, but it's Devin Bundy, and I own McClure Concrete here in Denver. Um, and I can't believe I've said it, even though you're playing music for 10 years. I've been in concrete for 34 years now, and it's been a very, very good to me, and I hopefully we can continue to be good back. So,
Sweet.
all right,
Thank you very much.
Dad,
Think
if you think of anything else, you let me know. Okay.
all right, will do.
I want to know your grade. I want to know what we get.
Yeah, I will. I will. I'm hoping for an A. If I don't, then A plus.
Blame it on me. You got an automatic excuse.
Awesome.
All
Will
right.
do. Thanks again. We'll keep
Have a
in
great night.
touch. You too.
Bye.
I'll stop the recording.